The great part about remaking an awful movie is there's nowhere to go but up, right? Left Behind is the second attempt at making a movie based on the Left Behind novels, which highlight two men's interpretation of Christian end times theology and what would happen to the world if all of the Christians vanished from the planet at the same time. I mean, other than the fact that we would have quite a few less cheesy, heavy-handed message movies in theaters, of course. Sorry, that one was too easy to pass up. Nicolas Cage stars as a pilot dealing with disappearances on his plane, while his daughter deals with the impact of the rapture down on God's green earth. And both of them deal with the ramifications that come from remaking a Kirk Cameron Christian movie made over a decade ago. Although I have to say, to those I hear saying that this is somehow worse than the first Left Behind movie, have you seen the first one, like recently? This one is leaps and bounds better, which is to say, still thoroughly awful. I mean, a couple of the performances aren't all that bad. Chad Michael Murray does all right, and Nick Cage, for all his inconsistency, actually seems to pull this one off quite nicely. Also, there's some solid action in the last 20 minutes of the movie that use some fairly convincing special effects. I mean, it's a silly, ridiculous, and totally unnecessary action climax, but at least it kind of looks real, right? Look, overall this movie gets just about everything else wrong. Forget the now Christian cliche of the underproduced yet overbearing musical score. Forget the fact that the secondary acting is like watching a grade school play. Even forget that thing where they take a pretty interesting concept, you know, the rapture, and hit you over the head with a sermon instead of a story. Forget all that. The worst thing about this movie, it's simply boring. The movie takes way too long to get to the disappearances, and then drags that moment out for the rest of the movie, even while somehow missing all the interesting parts of it. Plus, even as heavy-handed as the message can be in this, the themes actually make no sense in relation to the focus of the story. If the movie wanted to tell the story about a father and daughter's emotional separation and reunification, then maybe that climax makes sense. But what does any of this have to do with the big event that's sending the whole world into chaos? It's a jumbled mess of story and execution that fails on just about every level, which of course just means we have to hope they get it right when they try again in 15 more years. At the end of the day, Left Behind is a second swing and miss on translating this best-selling novel to the big screen. Even with an Academy Award winner in the pilot seat, it crash lands with a D+. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. You can stay tuned for this review's best ever challenge here in a bit. First, I'm going to throw some stuff up over here that you can click on. If you'd like to subscribe, which I'd very much appreciate, do that by clicking the big gray subscribe button. Want to see more? Well, I've also got reviews out this week of Annabelle, The Good Lie, and Ben Affleck's Gone Girl. You can also click the logo right up here to go to the all-new YourMovieFriend.com, where you can find a searchable database of reviews, as well as the written text of these videos. And finally, this review's best ever challenge. This is where you name the best movie ever in a particular category, and also try to identify my choice. What is the best Nicolas Cage movie ever? I'm kind of partial to the one where he looks a lot like that Danny Zuko kid. Drop your own answer and a guess at mine in the comments, and the first person to guess mine does get a point. Thanks, and please subscribe.